House, and to all of your family, friends and supporters who are joining us online, you're all very welcome. My name's Christopher Sullivan and I'm the Deputy Official Secretary to Her Excellency the Governor, and it's a great honour and privilege to be your Master of Ceremonies this afternoon. We'll shortly be joined by Her Excellency and Mr Wilson, and just a reminder from your briefing a little earlier that today we will stand and observe the National Anthem rather than sing it ourselves. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I invite you now to please stand for the arrival of Her Excellency the Honourable Margaret Beazley, Governor of New South Wales, and Mr Dennis Wilson. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
Bujuri Gamarua, Majingo, Babana, Gamarado, Gadigal. Welcome to Government House, which stands on the land of the Gadigal and looks out over the absolutely sparkling Gadigal waters. And I pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging. There's an Irish playwright and novelist, Oscar Wilde, quite famous, as you probably all know, and a great writer, but he was quite a scallywag, as you know, and I never really had thought I'd ever get any wisdom out of his works. But he did say on one occasion that the smallest act of kindness is worth the grandest intention. And it's not trite, but it is true. It's not trite because I think it sums up what we're about to experience today. But indeed, we're going to experience much more than that. Not small acts of kindness. We're going to hear the citations of those in our community who have given so much. And they've given it kindly, they've given it with consideration, and most importantly, they've given it without thought for themselves. And it comes out in our community in so many ways. We're really very fortunate to live in a society where we are well educated and people use their education for the benefit of others. We are mostly fortunate to have good jobs, and people use their jobs and the skills that they get in their jobs for the benefit of others. And there are those who might retire, who just give their time because that is the aspect of their life in which at a particular time in their life they are most rich in, and they share that. And it'll make your heart sing by the end of the day, I can assure you. The Deputy Official Secretary keeps telling me we're not allowed to sing, but your heart can sing because you will hear the contributions of those who have been honoured in the Australian Honours Awards, and so they should be. These awards are very unique. They are unique because they they're community-based. They don't come down from a government, or they don't come down from a supervisor or a superior. They are community-based, peer-based. There is someone who has known the recipient, who understands what wonderful work they've done, how much they've done, and they also understand the importance of giving recognition to those who do so much in the community. And today's awards are about that recognition. And it's not only a nomination process. As I like to tell people, there's a very strict vetting process that goes on with these awards, and it's an Australian-wide vetting process. Those who receive awards in New South Wales are not only vetted within New South Wales, they are vetted by a committee which is Australian-wide. And that also just tells you what inspirational work that they do. The importance of recognition, it seems to me, is not only to show the recipients how wonderful they are and how valued they are, but it's also, I think, the recognition in itself inspires other people to do something. And that's how we keep building upon a community, and why we as a society are so rich. So listen to the citations. You'll come out of today feeling grand, I can assure you.
Your Excellency, to be invested as an officer of the Order of Australia in the General Division, Professor Simon Robert Finfer. Professor Finfer has been the Senior Staff Specialist in Intensive Care at Royal North Shore Hospital for nearly 30 years and is the Clinical Director of Intensive Care at Sydney Adventist Hospital. Professor Finfer is a Clinical Adjunct Professor at the Sydney Medical School of University of Sydney and an Adjunct Professor at University of New South Wales. For the Australian New Zealand Intensive Care Society, he is a foundation member and former chair of the Clinical Trials Group and was the leader of several large-scale controlled trials. He is a professorial fellow of the Critical Care Division of the George Institute for Global Health. Professor Finfer has published over 160 papers in medical journals, delivered over 200 presentations at national and international forums and scientific congresses, and is a reviewer for over 30 international journals. He has been Chief Investigator for 18 grants funded by the National Health and Medical Research Council. Professor Finfer provides leadership in international and Australian sepsis organisations. He is a Fellow of the Royal College of Physicians, Royal College of Anaesthetists and College of Intensive Care Medicine, and has an honorary doctorate from Germany's Friedrich Schiller University. For distinguished service to intensive care medicine, to medical research and education, and to global health institutes, Professor Finfer. To be presented with the Public Service Medal, Ms Jane Elizabeth Simmons. Ms Simmons is a committed educator serving as school principal, school education director, regional director at executive director level, and currently as an executive director, school services. She has led the coordination of several large-scale programs, including the New South Wales Department of Education's Strategic Services Tailored Support Initiative, the Rosette Program in partnership with Western Sydney University, and Girls in Property Week in partnership with the Property Council of New South Wales. As the co-executive producer of the Schools Spectacular, she has led this established annual event's rebranding and growth into a world-class show involving 5,500 diverse students from public schools across New South Wales. In her role as Executive Director School Services, she provides strategic leadership for a team of more than 700 staff spread across the state. She encourages innovation and responsible risk-taking, transparency and shared expertise. Throughout her career, she has made a positive impact on many thousands of students in New South Wales. For outstanding public service to education in New South Wales, Ms Jane Simmons. Mrs Robin A. Gray. Mrs Gray is the founding president and a life member of the Brunswick Valley Historical Society, for whom she's twice acted as president and secretary since its founding 30 years ago. She was a volunteer for over 25 years for the Brunswick Valley Historical Society and Museum, and is the author and editor of numerous local historical publications. Mrs Gray has received a bicentennial medallion for contribution to the bicentenary celebrations of European settlement and a certificate of achievement from the Royal Australian Historical Society. She was the author of Australia Day Award Winners and Speeches, was a member of Byron Shire Council's Australia Day Committee for 20 years, and was a speaker at the Council's Australia Day Address in 2007. For service to community history, Mrs Robin Gray. Brother Nicholas Patrick Harsas. Brother Nicholas is Principal of Holy Spirit Catholic Primary School, Carnes Hill. He has previously been Principal of Our Lady of the Rosary Catholic Primary School, Fairfield, St Therese Catholic Primary School, Sadleir Miller, and Patrician Brothers Primary School in Fairfield. A member of the Patrician Brothers Congregation and the General Council Leadership Team, he is also a former member of the Leadership Team, Province of Australia and Papua New Guinea. In 2018, he received the Dempsey Medal from the Catholic Archdiocese of Sydney. Today, for service to education and to the Catholic Church of Australia, Brother Nicholas Harsas. Mrs Marjorie Kathleen Cable. Mrs Cable is the inaugural member of the Women's Auxiliary of Finley sub-branch of the Returned and Services League of Australia, joining in 1948. She was the Senior Vice President from 2014 to 2018. Life member of United Hospital Auxiliaries, she served as President of Finley Hospital Auxiliary for a period of 16 years. Senior Vice President and life member of Finley and District Historical Museum, she's a foundation member and mentor of Finley Self-Help Group. For the community of Finley, Mrs Cable is a member of the Berriquin Regional Care Management Auxiliary, Finley branch of the Red Cross, Finley Pioneer Railway Group, and the Rotary Club of Finley. Your Excellency, perhaps unsurprisingly, for service to the community of Finley, Mrs Cable.
And enjoy today. This is the day when we ask you, ladies and gentlemen, I think it hardly needs to be.
Mr Thurley was a technical manager at Australian Newsprint Mills. For service to local government and to the community of Albury, Mr David Thurley. And Your Excellency, that concludes the last of today's investiture ceremonies.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think it hardly needs to be said that when we hear the work that has been done by the wonderful recipients of Australia Day Honours Awards and who we're honouring today, and you know why we live in the best country in the world. And we certainly have, I think, the highest volunteering activity in the world. And as I said earlier, it comes through in so many ways. And I don't know anyone who does only just one thing. And so for what is almost, in every case, a lifetime of service, but most importantly, continuing service. I think all we can do is once again say thank you, congratulate you once again, and enjoy today. This is the day when we particularly ask you not to be humble, okay? This is the day when you can be as proud as Punch, because we are extraordinarily proud of you, our recipients. And so proud are we just want to go out now and have a party, celebrate a little bit more. We not only celebrate the wonderful people of New South Wales, we celebrate everything which is good about New South Wales, including the produce. So, and we've kept the weather for you. We do that specially, usually, on these days. And when you do go out, you'll have, what will you have? You'll have extraordinary things. And if you hang on a little bit, the sweets will come out, the desserts will come out, and you'll have the best strawberries that you've ever had. And so good are these strawberries, the chef couldn't contain himself. He had to sort of flow some chocolate over them. Very healthy chocolate, it's dark chocolate, so you'll be okay. And then he sort of had a little bit of a flourish, because, you know, creative type, they're a bit like that. So you have a flourish of white chocolate over the strawberries, and look, you'll just drool. And then you can just sort of throw it down with a little bit of champagne, and you'll top the day off. So come on outside, have a wonderful time. Congratulations again, and most particularly, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we bid farewell to our online audience, thank you very much for joining us at home. Will you please now stand for the departure of Her Excellency Mr Wilson.